Something struck me when I heard Carl Jung said that loneliness isn't something so, dehumanizing. Yet we think of it that way. We think loneliness is a weakness. We think loneliness equals detachment from the society, certain groups, people who are closest to us. We fear loneliness. And it struck me when Carl Jung said, but only by being lonely can someone get to know their unconsciousness. And it makes sense to me. Because let's say when we are a kind of person who's, for most of the time, avoid loneliness. Whenever we are with someone, whenever we are doing something, whenever we are working, whatever, our attention is on those things. When you're with someone, your attention is on them. When you're doing your work, your attention is on your work. Your attention started to go inwards only when you're alone. And even so, that is still not enough. To just be alone is not enough to connect with the unconsciousness. We need more time to be alone. So long, people consider it as loneliness. What happens when we are lonely? Everything that we suppressed, every fear, every shame, every guilt, everything that is unspoken, the shadow self, it comes to life. But because we don't know how to deal with it, that's why we fear it so much. We are afraid. But that fear leads to the disconnection of oneself. And I come to this is a suspicion that I have over myself. Because I caught myself. I have my food on my hand. And I have to turn up some videos. Because I am avoiding contemplation. I avoid eating with my eyes empty, with my mind wandering. I was avoiding. That's why I have this fixation to avoid. Now it makes me think about my addiction. My addiction with cigarettes, especially. This past 1 week, I've been having the thoughts of quitting cigarettes. And then 3 days ago, I think I sort of feel pain in my lungs. Today, this afternoon, I don't know if I was having a panic attack or there was no wind. It was so hard for me to breathe, to actually breathe. Now, I think there's so many things that is happening. It's not just a cigarette. Cigarette is one of it. But another thing is my nervous system. I refuse to acknowledge the things that I know. Because I want it to be wrong. I don't want my instinct to be right. I don't want my gut feeling to be right. So I've been consciously refused to see the truth. Now to go back with this cigarette. Stimulation. Cigarette is stimulation for me. Maybe for many of us. It is also a distraction. I need to do a research on what is the effect of nicotine to us. I'm gonna do that research. But the fact that it's addicting, it is already obvious that it is stimulating something. It's the same with, having your food on your hand and you're just opening YouTube to watch something, to stimulate yourself, to avoid being on your own, to avoid the mind wanders. I feel like it's similar with my addiction, or any kind of addiction. It's an attempt to escape something. Yes, cigarette feels good. I ended up loving cigarettes. I love cigarettes so much, but I am having my suspicion now. The gesture, the gesture and the act of smoking outside. Not only that, smoking stimulates me. It is also a persona for me. Cigarette actually do a lot to me. It damages my lung. It stimulates me. It's an act that I love. I love it. I love the act of smoking. I love the delicacy and a distraction. 5. I'm afraid that our body just wants us to take deep breath so much, but we always needed a reason. Smoking cigarettes managed to give us a reason to take a deep breath, to inhale and exhale. This is all our running thoughts. I've been having mood swings before this video. My abandonment issues, my avoidance. It's all on the roof, baby. And I ended up questioning a lot. And I'm thinking about ending things with this person that I ended up consciously overlooked some things. I feel like I neglect myself. I neglect my belief. I neglect what I know in order to be wrong, in order to know that I'm loved. I need to work on my self-esteem. That's for sure. I thought I have a high self-esteem for most times because whenever somebody compliments me, I just seem to, like it very much, and I just take it. I don't take it weirdly. I just yeah, thanks. I accept it. But then I realized I was also putting an act of accepting those compliments. I am not that person yet I wanted to be. That's why I pretend. Yeah, there are some things that you could fake it till you make it, but stuff like this, you cannot do that. You are fooling yourself if you tried. I need to go back to myself. I'm gonna try to jump straight into the loneliness. Not straight. There's still some portion within me that don't want to decide things in this very impulsive way. I don't want to end up hurting this person, even though my gut is right. But if I just cut it off entirely without no explanation and delve into my loneliness, that is selfish. So I think what I'm gonna try to think for tomorrow, other than doing research on the cigarette, is trying to think of a way to actually do this, to actually figure this stuff out, because it's a cycle for me now. I have this disorganized attachment, and it has always been there. This guy is just another catharsis that make me see. It has always been with me. The cycle, different people, it's still there. I'm afraid of intimacy, but when I feel like they're pulling away, I get very anxious and I wanted reassurance. Once I get a reassurance and when it starts to feel constant, I have the tendency to leave again. Now, right now, I don't know if I am intellectualizing my tendency to leave, or I'm actually speaking some good stuff here. It's very complex, and I love how I have suspicion to any point of view of mine, because it's gonna help me to not be, narrow-sighted. Now, I don't know if I have the capacity to actually deal with the information of all of the things that I see in this spacious vision. Let's say, if I have it. Let's hope. I'm working on it. But again, I doubt if I have the tools or the ability to deal with it. I am genuinely curious what's gonna happen if I stop distracting myself. If I stop injecting myself with stimulation after stimulation. If I just be, if I just exist within the loneliness that I always fear. Is it gonna be dark? Is it gonna be depressing? Or will I be able to communicate, to actually hear the unconscious? Is it a way to let the unconscious to become conscious? And of course it's scary because it's something that merges out of the unknown. Is it a mix of everything? I don't know. There's a part of me that is a little bit excited, thinking about going all in to loneliness. There's also a part of me that hopes to be wrong, yes, but when I actually take my distance from this guy, there's a part of me that hopes to be chased, to be convinced, to be reassured. But again, it's still the same part of that cycle. It's a cycle. This loneliness might be a way to break out of that cycle. Fuck. It's so hard. It's so complex. I also have another side. My side that loves to take control, because I know this guy is preparing a gift for my birthday. I think he's trying to give me like a hard disk or an SSD for my computer. And that will actually be useful for my music. So this part of me is also considering whether if I should play it safe. Like, let's actually study the cigarette, the stimulation, the unconsciousness before actually dipping in. Now, meanwhile, we are also waiting to take. So it's greed. It's my greedy side. I acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge it with no shame. I have it with me. It's me. It's just that so many sides. So many sides, so many consideration. Now, how to be a wise person in this situation? Can I be a wise person? Am I required to? Why should I be a wise person? Again, the question branches again. I don't know. Oh God, am I spiraling? I guess the more you know, the more it hurts. It's not healthy. I cannot pretend to be saint anymore. I cannot pretend to be this emotionally regulated person, because I have that savior complex. I have that raging savior complex, and now I know where it comes from. It comes from the dire need to actually be there for myself, to actually heal myself. But because I am avoiding so much, it gets pushed into the unconscious, and then it manifests. It manifests that need to heal. It manifests because I didn't acknowledge my wound. It manifests, and it's projecting in my brain through my vision when I look at somebody, someone with a problem that might feel familiar to my unconsciousness. It takes the semantics in my brain fucking lights up. I'm gonna try to save that person. I am currently mapping everything that's going on with me. It's a vicious cycle, very tiring. It's 3 a.m. I can't find my sleeping patch. It's so painful and tiring, but I need to do this. The more I neglect this, the more painful it's gonna get, and the more people it's going to affect. I might not have the capacity to actually face it. I don't think any of us ever have that. Maybe it was never about that to begin with. It's just to have that will to do it. I know I'm solid as a rock. I'm gonna make it out alive. I'm probably gonna watch this in the morning, or maybe 3 years from now. And I feel like I'm saying the right things. And I feel like I'm doing the right things. This is not hormonal. Because at first I sell these lies to myself, like, oh, maybe it's because your period is coming, that is why you're having these mood swings, that's why you're I'm trying to explain why I'm the way I am without wanting to acknowledge the actual thing. Meanwhile, having my menstruational cycle, it does not invent problem. It amplifies. So this is actually something that I probably have tried to maintain for a long time. I tried to control it to not break. And believe me, it's not breaking. I did a great job at controlling. It's just I'm finally seeing the work of what I've been doing. And I am trapped in my own creation. It's not because my menstrual cycle is coming. It's because I've been suppressing so much. My body has been trying to tell me. I didn't listen. I've been having panic attacks. I didn't listen. I tried to find excuses to all of that. I'm not neglecting myself anymore. Even if I'm wrong, maybe it was not necessarily me trying to avoid things, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I was not having a panic attack. Even if I'm wrong, there's nothing that I could lose from getting to know myself again. I always forget that getting to know yourself is a process of a lifetime. It really is. You cannot leave it. You cannot think to yourself that, oh, I know myself enough. Okay, bye. It's a constant act to keep waking up in the morning and choose yourself. Is it selfishness? Nah. A lot of us have selfishness as a coping mechanism, not necessarily because we are selfish. Sometimes we became selfish because we're selfless. Again, we are contradiction. We are walking contradictions. Gotta go.